everybody's having a great day. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm Chantilly'S and this is Chantilly's Kitchen Hop. And if it's your first time watching, guys, just so you know, everything I do is gluten-free, vegan, delicious, and try to be as easy as possible. And if you're joining me again, welcome again, guys. So I have another great recipe today. We're doing banana chocolate chip blondies. So good. I mean, just take a look at these guys. They're gooey, delicious. They are absolutely amazing in flavor, but let me tell you, there is no oil, no processed sugar, so they're actually on the healthier side. There's some good protein and some good fiber in there. And we actually have a secret ingredient that we're using today. I've never put in baked stuff before, and it just made it just so gooey and delicious. So let's go ahead and get started, guys. So you know, I always forget this step. We do need to preheat our oven. We're doing 375 today. So make sure you got that going. I actually already have mine because I am going to make my batch and get these eaten as soon as we're done. And then one more thing to do ahead of time is we're going to do a flax egg in this recipe. And you need to let it sit for about 5 minutes. So you guys see what I'm using. I got the flaxseed meal from Bob's Red Mill. And we're going to take 1 tablespoon of this to 3 tablespoons of water. Just give it a little mix, and you want to let it sit for 5 minutes, like I said, because you're going to get this nice gelatinous, more egg-like texture. So we definitely want that for our recipe. And next, what we need, and I know everybody always seems to have some of these laying around, some of those good old ripe bananas that are just looking at you sad for a few days because you haven't eaten them. But pop them in the fridge because there's always recipes you can use with them before they go too bad. So here's, you know, one of my sad ones I'm putting back in the fridge. We want 2 of those, and we're going to go ahead. We're going to put them in just a medium mixing bowl and mash them on up. And then next, after we have that, we're going to do 1/3 cup of maple syrup. Got my little spatula. Let me get that. So make sure we get that 1/3 cup. That's our sweetener, so if you guys have the vegan honey, you can do that too, or if you do want to do sugar, you can do sugar, but the maple syrup I really like in here. The flavors just go so well together. And we're going to put that flax egg in that I just told you guys about, so we're going to pop that bad boy in there. And this adds some good iron, some good B vitamins, and some good protein, so that's also good to have that in there. And omegas too, if I remember correctly. It's always so much to remember about everything. And then next, that secret ingredient I was telling you guys about, we used it last week. We're going to put in 1/2 cup of tahini. So it's just pure tahini. You don't want the salted and you don't want the roasted garlic. So make sure you just get the plain unsalted, and we're going to do 1/2 cup. Pop that in there. I know it seems really weird because we just did it with a savory dressing and stuff, but it is so good in baked goods, and it's a really good replacement for oils, and it still really holds good moisture and just adds a really creamy texture to everything, and you cannot taste that it's in there. But if you guys are too nervous about using tahini, you can just do 1/2 cup of your favorite nut butter. So you could do peanut butter, almond butter, sunflower butter. Just make sure it's a good, just all natural nut butter. And then we want a teaspoon of vanilla. Whoop. It's going to have a little bit extra. Oops. And then let's go ahead and give this a mix up before we add in our dry ingredients. It's nice, as like I said, this is actually a quick, minimal ingredient recipe, which is really nice. So when you're just craving something sweet, this is just something really nice and easy to whip up really quick, which is actually how I came up with these the other night. I really needed something sweet. Didn't have anything in the house, so I figured let's make something with those bananas. And what's nice too is when you can have that guilt-free treat too, so, and you can maybe have an extra one. Alright, so you got that all nice and mixed up. I'll give you guys an idea what it looks like, just pretty much like a normal batter. And then we're going to add in 1 cup of oat flour. Oh, I didn't leave my bag out. So I have the Bob's Red Mill. I thought I left the bag, but I didn't. So we're doing 1 cup of that. Then we're going to do a teaspoon of baking powder. If I can find where I put it. So we got a teaspoon of baking powder. We're going to do a teaspoon of baking soda as well. teaspoon of baking soda, and then we're going to do a pinch of salt. This isn't even measurable, really just a pinch. It just really helps. Give this a good stir before we add in our chocolate chips. This helps to make sure that everything just really gets mixed in evenly, because if you throw those chocolate chips in right away, they kind of get in the way of making sure that baking soda and flour really gets distributed throughout. So I like to do those after. Make sure you scrape your edges. And it is going to be a little bit liquidy dough, just so you guys know, or batter, not dough. So it's kind of similar to a banana bread batter, but it's kind of cooked different than a banana bread. So let's get our sides all mixed in. Okay, they're fighting me, so I'm going to use my spatula. Just make it easier on myself because it seems to be sticking to all the gooey. Let's do that. Give you guys an idea what it looks like. So we're just making sure all the flour is all mixed in. We don't want to see any clumps in there because that's not going to be good when we bite into that. There we go. Everything looks pretty good and mixed in. That's why it's also good to make sure you mash your bananas really good, because the lumps of the banana you might think are lumps of flour. So you don't really want to overmix stuff. So, and then last we're going to throw in, almost thought I forgot them, our chocolate chips. And I have the mini semi-sweet from Enjoy Life. These do have a little bit of cane sugar, so if you guys want to make sure these have no processed sugar, just go ahead and get your favorite vegan, gluten-free dark chocolate, and then chop that up and toss that in there. But we're going to do a 1/3 cup. For me, I just eyeball it till I feel like there's enough. So that looks like about a 1/3 cup. Want to make sure there's some in every bite. But I also want to make sure these still say Blondies. Right, there we go. We're all mixed up. So let's go ahead and get some room here. We're going to grab our 9x10 baking pan. I have my one I like here. And for this one, I like to use parchment paper because it just makes it so easy to pull this right out, and you don't have to worry about it sticking, and just you really get a good presentation at the end using the parchment paper. But if you guys don't want to and you don't have a non-stick, just make sure you oil it and do your little bit of flour and stuff in there so it doesn't stick. But I would recommend parchment paper. I don't always use it, but sometimes I do find the benefits. So on this one, I actually am going to use it. And then we're just going to pour our batter right on in there. I know my parchment paper always likes to fold in on me and be a little difficult, so I think that's why it took me a while to finally like using it. As you can see, it's starting to battle a little bit, but just fold the edges back. We're going to pop that in there. Make sure we get all the ooey gooey goodness. I wouldn't use a spatula for this part, just make it easier on ourselves. I have these nice old Pyrex bowls that have the little spouts for pouring, but sometimes the stuff just kind of falls all over it anyway, and it needs a little help. So let's get that in there. That's all of it. And then just spread it around to make sure it's nice and even. We want to make sure there's no spots where it's not spread out, but really it'll kind of start spreading out as it cooks, so you don't have to worry about it too much. Give you guys another peek at what we're looking. So as you guys can see, you can tell it's moving, but it's not super liquidy. And we're going to pop that in the oven, 375, for about 20 to 25 minutes. I would check it at 15 to 20 just to make sure everything's looking good and your top's not getting too brown. But the center, we're really just wanting to make sure it gets cooked, but it's still going to be gooey. So it's a fine line. So about 25 minutes. If you still are thinking they're not done, go ahead and pull them out, because as they cool, they're just going to get this nice, delicious texture to them that is more like a brownie instead of banana bread. So don't think that you're going to be getting a super fluffy banana bread. It's like a gooey brownie. It's so good. You would actually think that there's a ton of oil, butter, all that badness in here. Alright, I'm about to enjoy this first out. They're so good. Oh, those are going to be some of my new favorites. They're absolutely delicious for breakfast, really good with a cup of coffee, or that midday snack, or even, you know, when you're having that midnight snack and you kind of want something. These are a great one. They're guilt-free, like I said. No sugar, no oil, and super easy. So if you guys are going to be up late and you got those 20 minutes to make them, I would definitely recommend doing these. And just be careful you don't eat all of them, because I ate half of them the other night when I made these the first time. So forewarning, they are addictive. So that is it for today, guys. Give you one more peek at what you're looking at. And you could also do, instead of chocolate chips, if you want to keep these a little healthier, do some blueberries, raspberries. So there's lots of fun different things you guys could definitely do with this good Blondie base. So I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I hope you guys try this one, and let me know what you guys think if you do, or if you try something different. Love my feedback from you guys. So have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next Tuesday, guys. Bye!